Hello, this is Ray Paik. I'm the head of community at Cube. Hope you're having a good August. And if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, having good summer in general. I announced last month during the July community call, we're skipping the community call in August. I think a lot of people in general are out on PTO or vacation, particularly in the August month, so we thought we'd just skip it. But we still owe you our roadmap update, which we do each quarter. The last time I did the quarterly update, I think we gave you like a reminder on we shifted our quarters to fit our fiscal calendars for planning purposes. So Q1 actually started in February. So the Q3 basically goes from August, September, and October. So I wanted to recap what we've done in Q2 and give you a little preview of what's to come in Q3. So here is sort of a quick snapshot of Q2. And as you recall, we put all of our roadmaps in our projects under CubeJS repo. So let me actually go over there rather than just going through this in slide. So if you go to our Q2 roadmap project, it's like a project number 12. So we basically have 5 major epics. So the ones that are done, you probably heard and read a lot of announcements and blog posts about our SQL API enhancements. The other one was caching performance, and the other pretty major item was supporting Databricks Data Warehouse. So those epics are done, and you can see all the associated like a pull request for these epics like underneath them. I mean, I'm going to scroll through and quick. There's a lot of them. I mean, there's something that's highlighted for kubesql as an example. Still kubesql, but you'll find ones for like a Databricks here as an example, and various other like a documentation related stuff related to our epics there. So the 3 big ticket items that are pretty much done are, again, SQL API enhancements, caching performance, and Databricks. The one that's still in progress, although we're not, most of the work here has been done, is adding like a BI tool support for with connectors. So if you look at the issue detail or epic details, I mean, we completely work for Metabase, Tableau, Power BI. And there are a couple of others that we're still planning to continue to work on, like Google Data Studio and Excel as an example. So we'll announce these as soon as these are done in the next couple of weeks or months. So stay tuned for that. I mean, we're not necessarily going to open another epic in Q3 because we're just going to continue doing the work. But excited to have support for, I mean, Metabase and Tableau are in particular the ones that were in high demand from our community members. So kudos to our engineering team for getting those done. Dynamic schema, unfortunately, that's an epic that we couldn't quite tackle in Q2. But 3.5 or almost 4 out of 5 are I'm pretty excited about. So that's it for Q2. I mean, if you have any questions on any of these roadmaps, I mean, feel free to leave comments on in these individual epics if you have any questions, or ping us on Slack. So that's sort of a quick sum up of what happened in Q2. For Q3, we got 4 epic items that we like to tell you about. So if you look at, again, I'll open this project 13 for Q3. So the 4 epic items, like the first one is replacing Redis with KubeStore. You may have read the blog post announcement about this, supporting streaming and with pre-aggregations. And the next 2 actually are geared towards like a data engineers in particular. We're seeing a lot of data engineering folks in our community. So we've got 2 epic items to support their use cases. So let me just jump here to go to this particular epic for replacing Redis with KubeStore. And then, as I noted, we just published a blog post, I think the last week or two, about our reasoning for replacing Redis with KubeStore. So you can read a lot more details about this, and you can see what's to come. But that's essentially what's captured in the epic here that we have for Q3. There's been a lot of inefficiency and scalability issues with Redis. So I mean that's our main motivation for replacing that with KubeStore. I mean, feel free to if you haven't already, I mean, feel free to check out the blog post and let us know if you have any questions. And like I noted, you are more than welcome, and you should feel free to ask any questions or leave any comments on any of these epics, and we'll be sure to get back to you. And then you can even ping me directly, Arpeg, if you want to get my attention. And if I can't answer the question, I'll be happy to pull a lot of our colleagues with your questions. The next one is, let me close some of the tabs, I guess, that we don't need, and go to streaming pre-aggregations. So this is our second epic we have for Q3. Obviously, I mean, the current pre-aggregations are limited to batch data, and we got a lot of feedback for what their use cases that use a lot of streaming, like a data sources, for example, KSQL. So the major difference going forward, once this is implemented, is that streaming pre-aggregations obviously will be push-based versus pull-based as it is currently. So this is another thing. I mean, based on community support, this is something that we want to have available on Cube. So stay tuned for more details as we make progress, as these features are implemented. I'm sure we'll have blog posts and other announcements so that you can get up to speed on what's available. So that's streaming pre-aggregations. And then the other two, like I noted, the other two epics are to support a lot of our data engineers that are coming to our community. And let me click on this. So as I noted, I mean, one of the things that we found out as we were talking to a lot of data engineers is that they, like, data engineers, like in particular, deal with a lot of internal stakeholders at their organizations. So internal stakeholders like analysts and others, consumers of data that are not necessarily very technical. So I mean, you can't really quite. It's not appropriate to like explain the internals of the data with joins, what tables and whatnot. So they need a simpler language to communicate with their stakeholders, like things like metrics or metric stores. So those are things that we want to support for our growing community members. So stay tuned as we make progress on this. I'm sure we'll be like, as we do with other key features in Epics, we'll be making announcements with blog posts and discussions on Slack. So stay tuned for that. And as I noted, if you have any questions or comments, I mean, feel free to leave comments here for this particular epic, and we'll be happy to get back to you. The next item, also for data engineers, I'm trying to navigate through some of the buttons here. Is adding YAML support. Again, for like a data engineers, like JavaScript isn't the most helpful tool for data engineers. It could actually be a blocker for onboarding onto Cube. So we want to add support for YAML and potentially other languages in future quarters. I mean, we've heard comments about like a Python and others as well, but we want to start with YAML this quarter. and potentially build on with other languages in subsequent quarters. So if you have, and besides like YAML or Python, if you like to see other languages supported, feel free to leave comments here, and we'd love to hear your feedback and what your thoughts are. Yeah, so that's basically, I kind of skip through the slides, but basically, each of the slides I have that I'm sharing is basically a screenshot of all the like epic or slash issues that I created and showed to you. Again, like feel free to go take a look at our project number 13 to that you can delve into more details and leave additional feedback for 4 epics that we have for Q3. So yeah, so that's what we're planning on basically for Q3. And once again, like we'll in about a quarter or so, we'll sort of revisit where we are with the roadmap items we have. Hopefully we'll have majority of these things like completed, and then obviously we'll talk more about the Q4 roadmap starting in November. So that's pretty much it for the roadmap. Hopefully that's helpful, and let us know either through like GitHub or Slack if you have any questions or comments. One final thing that I wanted to share before I end the recording, just announced it on Slack this morning. Announced our next workshop. This is another frequently requested topics for our workshop is basically introduction to KubeCloud. So if you want to get hands-on experience with KubeCloud and learn about the latest product updates, you should definitely join us. And Adnan will be leading this workshop, and you can register for the workshop here. It's basically event/introduction to KubeCloud with dashes in between words. And as always, all of our workshops will be recorded, and you'll be able to find recordings on the playlist. If you haven't seen it, you should check out our YouTube channel. And this is our playlist for the workshops, all the workshops that we've done over the past almost a year now, all available. And if you had, if for some reason you weren't able to join our workshop sessions in the past live. So this is a quick update in lieu of the August monthly call. Like I said, hopefully you have a good rest of the month, and we'll resume our normal monthly call schedule in second Wednesday of September. So thanks for joining me, and hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you.